Purity culture is a social and religious movement that emphasizes sexual abstinence outside of heterosexual marriage and promotes the value of chastity, modesty, and sexual purity. Rooted primarily in conservative Christian teachings, it gained significant prominence in the United States during the late 20th century. Purity culture encourages individuals, particularly women, to maintain sexually pure, often symbolized through the use of purity rings and vows. It advocates for strict adherence to traditional gender roles and places a high value on virginity as a key aspect of moral and spiritual integrity. While supporters argue that it fosters self-control and respect for the sanctity of marriage, critics highlight that it can lead to shame, guilt, and a distorted views of sexuality. The movement's impact has sparked significant discussions and debate about the balance between personal values, religion's beliefs, and individual sexual autonomy. I don't know about you guys, but growing up in an Asian household and going to church and practicing the Christianity religion, the purity culture was something I was taught to follow in order to save myself for marriage. When I say save myself, I mean no sex till marriage. But now that I'm a lot older, do I still believe and follow the purity culture? If you want to find out, keep listening because you don't want to miss this episode. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Yours Druelee. It is your one and only host, Druelee, of course. I know it's been a minute since I've uploaded a new episode, and like my last post that I did on my Facebook page, I've been busy, enjoying myself during the summertime. Okay, let a girl take a break from life, from reality, and from just doing the same thing every single day. Okay, let me just have a little bit of fun and a break, okay? But now that I'm back, I miss you guys dearly. And I know some of you guys have missed me and my episodes as well too, but here's a new one, okay? So without further ado, before I begin on this episode, I do want to do a disclaimer to let you guys know that on this episode, as you guys can see, the title is going to be about purity culture, okay? And with that being said, we're going to be talking about sex, okay? So now, if you are listening, if you are just tuning in right now, if you are very sensitive when it comes to the topic of sex, then this episode is not for you. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to exit off of this episode. And for those who are still here, thank you, because you guys are my cup of tea. Okay? Sex is a subject that is a very taboo topic to talk about, especially within families, okay? I know with my family, we don't talk about sex that much too. It's very on a hush-hush base. But for me, you guys know that I will talk about anything, everything taboo. And sex is just one of them. Sex is like my favorite subject, okay? Although I'm not an expert, but I'm very intrigued and very interested in learning a lot about sex. It could be anything that pertains to sex, but specifically with this episode, I kind of want to talk to you guys about the purity culture. And for those who have gone to church, you guys have known that in the Christian religious belief, right? We were taught to not have sex before marriage. And I feel like this is a very important subject to talk about. And I feel like not a lot of people want to talk about this subject. And I just want to, lighten you guys up about it. And just to inform you guys what I went through when it comes to this subject. And I hope that this episode will educate you guys or kind of have you guys get to know a bit about what I went through when it came to the purity culture. So in the beginning, of the intro, I did kind of talk a little bit about what the purity culture is, but then let me just kind of give you guys more in-depth information about it. So again, purity culture is a religious movement that emphasizes sexual abstinence outside of heterosexual marriage. And it also promotes the values of chastity, modesty, and sexual purity. And for those who know or grew up in a Christian household, along with the purity culture, you were also given a purity ring. Now, if you guys ask you, what's a purity ring, right? Well, a purity ring is also known as, again, chastity ring or the abstinent rings that symbolizes a commitment to abstain from sexual activities until marriage. So this practice is often associated with certain religious or culture. And here are just a couple things, a little bit more about the purity rings. The ring serves as a tangible reminder of a personal vow to remain chaste and is often worn on the ring finger of the left hand. So similar to when you have a wedding ring or you have an engagement ring, you will wear the ring in the left hand of your ring finger, right? And with that, it's just pretty much just a symbol that you made a promise to yourself to be faithful and to not have sex until marriage. And this was very popular in the 1990s and the early 2000s, especially within the evangelical Christian communities in the United States. And they are part of a broader purity movement that encourages young people to remain abstinent until marriage. When receiving a purity ring, it may involve a formal ceremony or pledge where individuals, often teenagers, make a public commitment to their vows. Now, for me, I didn't really do that in church because, growing up in a Hmong church, we didn't really follow through or have some kind of ceremony to say in public or say in our church that we will save ourselves to marriage. Because again, when you live in an Asian household, we didn't even talk about sex at all. So that was a lot different. But if for those who went to like a white church, I don't know. I'm not trying to be racist here, but a white church or a black church, just a church that was very expressive when it comes to subjects like sex, and then you would eventually have to do that type of ceremony to say in the public eyes that you will not have sex to marriage, right? And with that, while purity rings are intended to promote values of chastity and self-respect, they have also been criticized for, promoting the unrealistic expectations about sexuality, which contributes to shame or guilt around sexual expressions and reinforcing gender stereotypes. And so with that, purity rings have influenced popular culture from celebrities and public figures wearing them and publicly discussing their commitment to abstinence, which has brought both support and criticism. So all in all, a purity ring is a personal and often religious symbol of a commitment to sexual abstain from marriage, and that reflects the wearer's values and beliefs about sexuality and moral conduct. So if you want more information about the purity culture and the purity ring, you can always Google search it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of resources out there that will go more in depth on it. But like I said, growing up, this was very normal and this was something that I was well known into. And you guys, I even have my very own purity ring. I mean, it wasn't specifically a purity ring, but I just made it into a purity ring. I still have it. I still wear it. And although I'm not saying that I'm practicing purity ring because, you guys, I'm not a virgin, okay? But when I was younger, when I was still a young broad and, trying to, understand life, I did say myself, I told myself that, yes, since I'm a Christian and I believe God in it and I love God, if this is the way that God wants me to live my life, then I will live my life by abstaining from sex or not having sex until marriage. Aside from just learning about the purity culture and the purity ring, if you grew up in a household where sex is not a subject that you talk about in the open, then you're like me, where my parents, they didn't even talk to me and my siblings about sex at all. And I didn't even learn anything from school about sex besides, different disease that you get when you have sex, teenage pregnancy, how to prevent it. I don't think my health class ever taught me how to put a condom on, okay? I know some people, they have learned all of that and they have watched videos of that. But for me, I don't know, maybe my school didn't want us to know any of these things. Or maybe my teacher felt uncomfortable teaching little kids how to have sex. I don't know. But I'm just letting you guys know I didn't learn anything about sex at all, okay? The only thing I learned about sex was through friends. That's it. Friends would talk about it, and then that's how we knew about it, about sex. Now, pertaining to going to church and, in a Christian religion, at church, they didn't even talk about that either, too, because we went to a Hmong church. When you go to a Hmong church, it's an Asian church. So they're not going to talk about that, okay? Not in front of the kids. The only insight that I got about, being abstinence or being pure until marriage was having Bible study with my siblings. I have an older sister who was, into God, knew about the Bible, and we will have a weekly Bible study. And one of the things that she preached to us or talked to us about was saving ourselves to marriage, and that we shouldn't have sex until we got married. And that's the only way that, God will love us and for us to not sin against God. And I believe that. And I'm pretty sure my other siblings, they believe that too. But yeah, that's like the closest thing that we actually, we learned about sex. But a lot of times, especially within my Hmong culture, even though my parents didn't really go in depth about, not having sex or anything like that, the only thing that they would teach us is to just don't have sex or don't even have boyfriends. Because if you do, then we'll get pregnant. And when there's pregnancy, you will bring shame to the family. And then, of course, some Hmong family or some Hmong parents, they will disown you just because you weren't married before you were pregnant. So again, it wasn't much more of a supportive type of thing. It was more of like scaring us daughters off to not get pregnant and, not get disowned by our own family. So that was just a little bit snippets of what I grew up when it came to the purity culture and in a Christian household and in an Asian household where sex just wasn't a topic that we talked about. And it was more of just saving yourself, wait until marriage, and then you can have sex. And it also got me thinking about the Bridgerton too. So for those who watches the Bridgerton, I love that show. I'm like rewatching it again. I'm not that type to rewatch or reread books or rewatch series and movies at all, unless it's like years and years. Then I will come back to it. But Bridgerton is one of the series that I have rewatched again. And it got me thinking about, the purity culture as well too. The woman is expected to be pure and wait and to not have sex until marriage. On the other hand, a double standard is where men, they could just fuck around and hoe around, and that's okay. Like, really? Why can't us women do that too? But by going back to the Bridgerton, it kind of reminded me of the same thing as what I grew up to. Again, saving yourself, waiting until we get married, finding a husband, and then to have sex. And though that was what I was taught growing up, now in the current life, I do have to say that, do I really truly follow the purity culture anymore? Well, it's more of abstaining from sex. In my previous episode 36, Journey of Abstinence, and that's where I talked more about my journey of abstaining from sex until I'm in a new relationship. But if not, then just waiting until I get married. I forgot what I said in the episode, but if you guys want more information on my views on abstaining from sex, go to episode 36 and just listen to that. But like I said, right now, although I'm kind of practicing the purity culture, I kind of am not too. I'm not saying that, okay, I'm never going to have sex and I'm just going to wait until marriage. No, because you never know if you're going to change your mind. Now, I do have to say, especially being the person that did say that I wanted to wait until marriage, and nobody's perfect. And I have to say that it's really hard to save yourself until marriage. Some people, that I know, they are still virgin, which is great, and some they're not. And I do have to say that kudos to those who are still a virgin. And for those who, fell back and didn't really follow through, it's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. Just because you are a Christian, you believe in God, and you didn't wait until marriage and you have sex, that doesn't mean you are less of a person. That doesn't mean that God does not love you. God gave you a choice to choose whatever you want to do. And if you slip up, you slip up. And that's the reason why, like they said in the Bible, Jesus died on the cross to wash over your sin, right? At the same time, don't just take advantage of it, okay? Just because Jesus died on the cross for your sin, that doesn't mean that you can continue to sin, okay? I'm just saying that just don't do anything that will hurt you. But let's say that, you weren't able to hold it in until marriage and you happen to give it up. That's okay. Like, in my experience, okay, you guys, I'm going to be very vulnerable, okay? I did not wait until marriage, okay? As much as I was a Christian-going woman who was in love with God and wanted God to be in my life, crave for his love, and, just wanted more and more out of it and building that relationship with God. When you get into the relationship, you like a man, or you like a boy, I don't know. Let's say you like a guy, okay? You like a guy, and, things happen, and you just fall short, okay? Temptation, I tell you guys, temptation. For those who are a Christian, okay, and you weren't able to save yourself or stop yourself from going into that direction, don't be too hard on yourself. Even I was hard on myself, okay? So let's say that you are a Christian, okay? And your thinking is that, okay, as we can do other things just as long as he doesn't enter the front door. So what I mean by the front door, I mean your front area, okay? And then the back door is where you poop those waste stuff, okay? The rooftop is your mouth, okay? So when I am talking about that, make sure you guys understand what I'm trying to say, okay? Again, I went to church. I consider myself a Christian, and my thinking was like, as long as he didn't enter from the front door, then I'm still a virgin. And in my opinion, okay, my personal opinion is that it doesn't matter if they enter the front or not. If you chose to do oral, anal, I don't know, hand job or those other sexual positions or whatever that doesn't pertain to entering your genital areas, then you're not a virgin, okay? That's my opinion, okay? If you've done oral, if you've done anal, if you've done hand jobs, or if you allow a man to touch you in your boobies, your booty, just anywhere very sexual, you're not a virgin, okay? Just because you dry hump, that is close to be that is close to losing your virginity, okay? Let's say if he fingers you, you're not a virgin anymore, okay? If there's anything that goes inside of you, it doesn't matter if it's hands, object, whatever it is, you're not a virgin anymore, okay? So if you're going to tell me that you're still pure, you haven't lost your V card, okay, cool. But if you've done other things that didn't pertain to entering the front door and you did the back door and the rooftop or the roof door, I don't know what you call it, you're not a virgin, okay? Simple as that. Because in my head, like I said, when I was in this relationship, okay, we did other things, and I did not allow this person to enter me from the front door until a year within our relationship. And although we did other things, my thinking was, okay, as long as he didn't enter the front door, then I'm still considered, quote unquote, a virgin. But realistically, just thinking about it, no. Because if you have done other things, like I said, which is oral, which is anal, which is hand job, fingering, all that stuff, right? If you guys have done that, you're not a virgin, okay? So I'll just say you have experienced pleasure, steps to I don't know, actually losing your V card. Okay, even though you lose your V card, you lose your anal card, you lost your mouth card, you lost your hand card, all that good stuff. Okay, so like I said, it's just my opinion. All right, but if you don't believe that, you believe that as long as nothing is entering from the front of my body, then I am a virgin. That's on you. But for me, I don't know, just thinking about it, if you've done those things, it's still considered as sex. Even if you masturbate, that's considered as sex as well, because you're self-pleasuring yourself. Again, you can always do your research, but in my opinion, if you do any of these things, then you're not a virgin, basically. You're just, I don't know, exploring your sexual desires, but that is considered in the sex subject type of, I don't know, area, if you want to call that, okay? But aside from that, like I mentioned, you guys, although I would love to save myself into a marriage, I know that I'm going to fall short, okay? My thing is once you taste the cookie, or once you taste the Skittles or the rainbows, or once you taste the good, okay, you're not gonna go back. Okay, it's gonna be really hard to abstain. I mean, you guys, I've been abstaining from sex for so long, and it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard. But it's all about knowing yourself, knowing your values, what you believe in, and I'm not saying that I'm gonna wait until marriage. Who knows? What happens if I meet somebody that I like and I vibe, and I am sexually attracted to that person? You never know if something's gonna happen, and if it does, like I always said, just be safe. Use a condom. You want to use birth control? Go right ahead. Just do anything that will protect yourself and your partner, and just be safe about it. I don't like to sleep around because that's just not me. I'm just the type of person where I would rather sleep with someone whom I'm in a relationship with, a serious relationship with. And if, let's say, it doesn't work out, then it just doesn't work out. But that's just where I stand when it comes to the purity culture, being pure, and abstaining from sex. Again, this is just a subject that not a lot of people want to talk about, or not a lot of people are aware of. And, sometimes for those who are still a virgin, I do have to say that a lot of those virgin people, and, correct me if I'm wrong, but especially when I was still a virgin myself, it was really hard for me to lose my V card, just because when you put your virginity above your head to where your virginity is part of your identity, and I guess people know that you are a virgin, or you yourself know that you're a virgin, then when it comes to the time to actually losing it, then it's really hard for you to actually give it away, because your virginity has always been a part of who you are, your identity. Same with never being in a relationship at all. When you want to be in a relationship for the first time, you kind of don't want to be in a relationship, because people have known you for being the single woman, not being in a relationship, and you paint this picture that you are a pure soul, right? And don't get me wrong, I was there too, okay? I haven't dated, never dated until I was in college. And so when people ask me, have I ever dated or had any boyfriends, I've always told them loud and proud that, yeah, I never had a boyfriend, never got into a relationship, and I was a virgin. And, people, oh, wow, like the people were surprised. And yes, I did feel like, these things were a part of who I was as an individual. And now that I'm no longer a virgin, and now that I'm no longer not being in a relationship, it kind of does lose who I am as a person in a way. In the past, I did felt like if I dated this person, then I would no longer be the single Drew that I was so proud of being. And then I would no longer be that virgin Drew. And so for those who are Christians, or for those who are in their purity journey, abstinent journey, no, more like a purity journey where you haven't lost your virginity, just to let you guys know that don't allow being a virgin or not being in a relationship to make it to where it is your identity. Because the moment when you lose those two things, then you're going to be very confused, and you're going to not fully understand who you are, and basically the identity that you identify yourself with is no longer going to be there. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say, because sometimes when you make those two things like a high value into who you are as a person, once you don't have that anymore, then who are you as a person now? You're no longer the single Drew. You're no longer the virgin Drew. And then what? And now you have to find your other identity. And then on top of that, let's say that it's your first time having sex, right? You waited until marriage to have sex, but it's something that you don't enjoy, or you feel like it's a shame. And then you guys, it goes a lot way deeper when it comes to things like this, especially when growing up and being told that you shouldn't do this and this and this. You shouldn't have sex before marriage. If you do, God's going to punish you, or God's going to not love you anymore. You're going to bring shame to your family because you got pregnant out of wedlock, and all these things, these negative things that a lot of people embed in your head, to where sex shouldn't be a thing where you should enjoy. And although you should enjoy that with, your partner or your husband or wife, whatever you believe in, sex should be something that should be pleasurable and enjoyable. And it should be something that that we're supposed to openly talk about and not be ashamed of. I mean, when people talk about sex, like, it's very funny and it's very exciting. Okay. I get excited. Okay. Like, let's just normalize it. Let's normalize just freely talking about it. And hey, you guys, I wanted to share with you guys about these things. And from growing up, these are just some things that I've learned and heard and lived through. And I just hope that for those who are struggling to, I don't know, not keep your purity as your identity, or let's say if you did lose it and you don't know who you've become, just know that even if you did lose it before or after marriage, just know that you're still the same person. God doesn't hate you. He still loves you. He understands that people make mistakes. There's just different consequences when it comes to having sex, basically. But I'll know, you guys, this is going to be a very short episode because I just want to get straight to it, because I tend to blabber a lot. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys are bored of it. But I hope that by me, discussing with you guys about my experience in the purity culture, to, actually having a purity ring, and, having the purity culture and the purity identity, and not being in a relationship to be part of your identity, and also losing yourself or not following through or waiting until marriage, like all these things, yeah, it does have like a negative impact in you, because I felt like that too. But at the same time, I've learned that, just because I didn't follow through and I didn't wait until marriage to have sex, I'm not less of a person. Does that mean that God hates me? God doesn't love me? No, like, God still loves me. It's just that these are just commandments or laws or rules that was instilled in Christian church. And if you follow through with them, you follow through with them. If you don't, then that's okay. I say, all in all, whatever you believe, just as long as it's not hurting you or it's not turning you into someone that you shouldn't be, as long as it's bringing positivity in your life and you're growing from it, that's all that matters. And for those who doesn't believe in the purity culture, the purity ring, or saving yourself to a marriage, that's okay. That's totally fine. And for those who are currently following that and you willing to wait to marriage, I give you kudos, because for me, your girl fell through. Oh no, I just didn't. I wasn't able to follow through with that. But you know what? It's okay. And now look at me. I am abstaining from it, and I am just waiting for my next partner. Okay. But aside from that, I hope that you guys learned a little bit about me and were educated about the purity culture. And other than that, that is all I have for this episode. Again, always check on my Facebook page, my Instagram, my website. What else? YouTube as well too. I know I haven't been posting a lot, but like I said in the beginning of this episode, I am just trying to relax and just spending as much time with my friends and families, especially during the summer season. Okay, like who doesn't like to go out and about and do things? I will try my best to post things that I have been going to. That way, you guys know what it's like to be a single woman going out and about and do things with families and friends, okay? And there's like a lot of free and interesting things that is around Minneapolis, Minnesota, anywhere. But if in your city, if there's anything that some kind of event that is going on, always check it out. Even if you have to pay a fee or I don't know, a ticket just to go and invest in it and just go for it and just have a good time. Spend time with your friends and families, and yeah, just enjoy yourself. Don't just coop up in your house and just work all day. Like have the time set aside to have fun, enjoy life. And it's okay to not work all the time. It's okay to not just be at home all the time. Go out, have fun. Especially when you're single, you want to go out there and do things, okay? And I know for those who are homebodies like me, as much as I want to be home and just be lazy and just lounge around in my robe, that is so nice. But sometimes it's just nice to just go out and learn new things and see what's out there. So aside from that, thank you for always tuning in and supporting me and responding to me on whatever, staying connected with me. I truly, truly do appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.